So yeah, when I quit my graduate management consulting job in January earlier this year, I thought I knew at the time that it was definitely the right thing to do. But now that I'm back in full-time employment, working for a YouTuber called Ali Abdaal, a job which I absolutely love, I've had some time to reflect on my 5 months of self-employment, and I can see what some of the problems were. And before you say, OMG Tintin, I thought you really thought it all through, and you used all the decision-making frameworks, and you made a whole video about all the questions that you ask yourself and all the techniques that you use to definitely make the right decision. Yes, I did, and I don't regret it, and I technically didn't make a mistake, as the clickbaity title of this video suggests. However, I was wrong about a few things. The first thing that I was wrong about was just making a video. Ignore me. Bit awkward. That I thought I would have more free time because I was self-employed, I could control my own schedule, I didn't have to work against someone else's hours, but actually I had less free time. And that's because when you work for yourself, every waking moment becomes a potential working moment, because you can always be doing something to make more money, to get ahead, to produce more work. So you constantly feel stressed about not doing work. And anytime you schedule anything in the future with friends or with family, you feel nervous that when you're actually going to be doing that thing, that you might need to be working. The second thing that I was wrong about, predictably, was that my passion became my work. So all of the YouTube stuff and the online stuff that I was doing was really exciting, really fun. It was a side project whilst I was working as a consultant. And then when I quit, it became something that I could fill a lot of my time with, and naturally, over time, I lost excitement. And the third thing that I was wrong about was that I thought quitting would allow me to become a prolific content creator, because I thought that having more time would mean that I would have more time to make videos and podcasts and TikToks and Instagram reels. But there's something called Parkinson's law, which states that work expands to fill the time. So the longer you have to do something, the longer it will take you. And that's exactly what happened to me. I just had more time to make a video a week, and I just spent longer making it. And then there's the whole money thing. So when you are in full-time employment and you have a nice stable income, thanks Ali, you feel secure that you're going to get money at the end of the month. But when you are self-employed, obviously you only get paid for the work that you do. And so if you are sick, or if you can't work, or if you have too many clients, or whatever it is, you can't earn any more money. So those were the things that I was wrong about. But what was I right about? So I was right about a few things, and the main thing that I was right about was the fact that when I quit, I knew I was opting for a life of learning about the things that I wanted to learn about, and that by staying in my job, I would not have been learning about the things that I wanted to learn about. As I was self-employed, I learned to deal with uncertainty, I learned to take risks, I learned to take responsibility for my own life, my own time, and earning my own money rather than relying on a salary. And I learned about the skills that I wanted to learn about, and I learned about the industry that I wanted to learn about, which is like online education. And everything came down to the fact that what path was I choosing? Was I choosing to learn about consulting in the corporate world, or was I going to choose to learn about the thing that I was really interested in, which is online education and online entrepreneurship, mainly YouTube? For a period, I sort of had no idea what I was doing, and I've had to learn to deal with loads of uncertainty, and that is an invaluable skill. And one of the biggest takeaways I've had from this time is that an uncertain future is not a problem to be solved. That is a quote from Paul Millard's book, The Pathless Path, and it's really stuck with me. There's still so much to learn about navigating life and making these kind of decisions, but when you zoom out and I look at myself, and I'm 25, I'm healthy, I'm in London, in England, which has a great economy, there's loads of job opportunities, and I have a family to fall back on, and I'm well educated, the risk really isn't that big. It feels like you're taking a massive risk by turning away from the corporate world, which for me was something that I was told was the kind of be all and end all, and where we should all be heading. And that's where all the money was and all the learning was, and the main thing to opt for was kind of status and a high salary. I've realized that I'm actually really interested in taking risks and seeing what might happen if I try different things, and I push myself and I challenge myself and I get myself into kind of different situations that I don't really know much about, like YouTube and social media. And through doing that and through following my interests, I have learned more than I ever could have done, and I feel like I'm on a better path than I ever could have been. So no, quitting my job for me was actually not a mistake, but the reason I called the video that was because it's really, really important that we think about these things, because they actually are big decisions, and everyone has a different situation, and these things are really context dependent and very personal and very sensitive. So it is really important that you consider, if you are quitting your job, that being self-employed can be very draining and very taxing. And yes, I think actually when you have more pressure and higher expectations, you raise your performance, because there's a lot of evidence to support that kind of thing. If teachers have higher expectations of some children, and lower expectations of others, they conform to the expectations, that the children conform to the expectations of them. And the expectations that I had of myself were very high. And I think if I'd kept going being self-employed, I'm sure I would have been fine. However, being back in full-time employment gives me the space and the time and the money and security and stability to explore with YouTube on the side, which is what I want. And I want to take it seriously, but the pressure of making it work was in fact too much. There's a couple of things though that really helped me through this time, and I want to talk about a couple of them. They're all quotes from different things. One is from Simon Sinek, and that is that you don't have to have a plan, you just have to have a vision. And that I really relate to, because when I quit, I didn't have a plan exactly. I just had a vision of what the future could look like, and that vision is not going to be exactly carried out. It was just that I thought I could make stuff online and I could pursue this world of content creation, and it would sort of work out for me. And it has, because I've now got this amazing job and I'm making money from making YouTube videos on the internet. So I'm doing all the things that I wanted to do. You don't have to have it all worked out. You don't have to know steps 2 to 100. You only have to know step 1. And that quote just really stuck with me. Another thing that really stuck with me that I heard when I was self-employed was listening to the founder of Coffee Republic, Sahar Hashemi, giving a talk, and she said something that became the life motto that she had, which was that leap and a net shall appear. And when she said that, it's just about 2 months after I'd quit my job, and I really related to it, because the net that appeared for me was this company called Offline Education, which I started working for part-time. And they allowed me to kind of pursue all the different things that I want to pursue and earn a bit of money. And I didn't really know that was going to happen when I quit. Sometimes you do just have to leap, and it is important that you consider, when you're leaping and what you're leaping from. But for me, the leap actually felt a lot more scary than it was in reality, because as I said, I'm healthy, I have a family, I have something to fall back on. And the final thing that I want to mention is this idea of think big and take action, which has become this kind of little mantra inside of me. And I first heard it from my dad, and he said that every business book or kind of self-help book that relates to high performance and achieving things you want to achieve is that it comes down to one central message, which is that you need to think big and take action. So you need to think bigger than just a couple steps ahead of you. Think about something a long way in the future that you might want to achieve, and then take action towards that. So the only difference between anyone who's doing anything interesting, or anyone who's doing anything at all, is that they have an idea and they take action. It's this bias towards action that really gets people to the places they want to get to. And I was thinking about quitting, and I had to act on it, because at the time nothing would have convinced me not to quit, because I was so obsessed with this new opportunity that I had in YouTube and this new path that I wanted to take. And so I knew that quitting was absolutely the right thing to do for me. I was thinking big and I was taking action, and I was hoping that it was going to work out. And luckily I made a video about all the different things that I was thinking about at the time, so I can rest assured that I thought about it as much as possible. So now I'm in a new chapter with a new job, and I actually have more energy and more money to give towards my side project and the things that I want to do for fun on the side. And I actually weirdly feel like I have more time as well. But with all of these things, it's just what's right for you. You have to take responsibility for your own decisions and make it work. And that is something that I am learning to do, which is an invaluable skill. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.